Right, hello everyone and welcome to this new video on the channel. So today we have got the championship predictions from me and my girlfriend Lizzie. So we've done League 2, we've done League 1 and now it is the turn of the championship. So how are you feeling about your predictions and how did you find putting together your championship predictions?
A lot harder than Leagues 1 and 2.
Really?
Just because I don't know as much about the championship.
Yeah. I found this, I wouldn't say I found it easier, but these are ones I feel a bit more certain of. With like the bottom four, I've chopped and changed them so many times. Like the team that was safe out of the bottom four, as each of the bottom four teams has been safe at one point, but I've finally settled on the bottom four. But the rest, I feel more confident about these than I do with League 2 and League 1. But you know, the championship is such a hard league, so we'll have to see how that goes because it's such an unpredictable league. But anyway, how this is going to work is, so at the end of the season, we're going to score it, and the aim is to get the lowest score possible. So basically, if you predict a team and they finish spot on for where you predicted them, they'll get no points. And then for each position you are out, so for example, if you predict someone to finish in 15th and they finish in 17th, you'll get 2 points and vice versa. So anyway, that's how it's going to work. Let's get into these predictions. Okay, so we're going to start with the bottom three, so the teams going down to League 1. So like I say, the bottom four I've chopped and changed so many times. Only one of them teams could be safe, and I finally settled on one of them. So anyway, let's get started. In 24th, this is going to divide opinion big time, but I've gone for Huddersfield Town. So reason for this, I know we've got Neil Warnock coming in, and we had amazing form at the end of last season, but I just don't think it's going to last, to be honest with you. I think the squad's weak for that level. I don't think, like I say, compared to the rest of the division, I think it is a weak squad. I know we've got Warnock who can make an average player brilliant, but I think that effect's gonna die out a bit after. I mean, like I say, we had the miracle of last season staying up. It might last a bit into the season, but I don't think it's gonna last a full season. And another thing is Warnock going to be there for the full season? Will he see it out, or will he be gone before the end of the season? So that is my 24th place. 23rd, I have gone for QPR. Just a bit of a mess, to be fair. Since Mickey Beale went to Rangers, we've just been on a massive decline. Ainsworth's come in, it's not really worked out at the minute. And the squad's just getting weaker and weaker. But I've got a few decent players up front, like Chair and players like that. But, you know, I watched them against Wigan last year and just looked awful. And I just don't see him getting out of it. I think that decline is just going to go into next season. And I think they're in big trouble. And then in the final relegation place, I've gone for Rotherham United. I weren't too sure about this one. I just think the rest of the division's got stronger, and I don't think Rotherham's really strengthened that much. They've lost almost the captain to us, Doncaster Rovers, and I just think there's a lot stronger teams, and I think, like I say, they did extremely well to survive last year, but I just don't think we're going to do it this year. Like I say, Paul Warne did really well with him start of last year, and I like Matt Taylor as a coach, but I just don't think they're going to quite have enough. Right, who have you got in your bottom three, Lizzie?
So I've gone Cardiff rock bottom, 24th, because they've just got so many problems off the field, and they're just not. They struggled last season to survive, and I think this will be the season, and they have done for quite a few seasons now.
Yeah.
Obviously got transfer embargoes and all sorts of things happening, and I think this is the season that we'll finally see them fall. And like, in a little sneaky way, I hope they do, because if Doncaster get promoted, I've never been to Cardiff.
I've never either.
I'd really like to go.
I'll tell you a spoiler before I get on to the rest of my predictions. They were my other team, the bottom four. I had them in the relegation zone all the time, and I took them out at the 11th hour. So yeah, they are just missing out for me.
Yeah, and I went QPR in 23rd as well, same as you.
5.
Yeah. For the same reasons. I just think, again, it's another team that for me seems very similar to Cardiff in that it feels like it's time.
Agree with
and
that,
I've also never been to Loftus Road, which is definitely not a coincidence.
Not complaining with you so far.
And 22nd, I went Huddersfield. For the same reasons you mentioned, really. I just think, so I live in Gainsborough. Neil Warnock was supposed to be coming to a charity event at Gainsborough Trinity's ground, and he had to pull out on ill health. That was like a month and a half ago. And as much as I love the guy, I worry that he's not going to be physically up to it. You know, he had to pull out for all of his work over the summer. So I was honestly surprised that he signed another year because of what had happened over the summer. So I wonder how long he'll last, and then they'll probably get Danny Schofield in for the rest of the season.
I literally said that to you a few days ago. Yeah,
in classic Huddersfield fashion. Yeah, and I think also they're a shambles behind the scenes. As much as they've done well getting Warnock in, I think it's just papering over the cracks that are quite big at Huddersfield and have been there since they missed out on promotion a few years ago.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Right, so next up we've got the teams from 21st to 19th, so just missing out on the relegation places. So you've already heard my 21st is Cardiff City. I think we're a bit of a mess, and like I say, it was between 4 clubs, and I had Cardiff in 22nd pretty much since I made my very first draft, but I have just changed them because I can't see QPR surviving, to be fair, because they were my 21st team for a while. But like I say, there's a lot of mess with Cardiff, let's be honest. We've just been going downhill ever since it got relegated from the Prem. And I know we've signed like Aaron Ramsey and a few other additions, but one player's not going to solve all your problems. And let's be honest, he's aging a bit as well. He'll do, he'll be a big influence in the dressing room, but I don't think one man is going to save you. I think they'll survive, but only by the skin of the teeth. In 20th place, I've gone for Sheffield Wednesday. I think they'll have enough to survive, and I think they'll be one of them teams. I think they'll get off to a real bad start because they're in a bit of a mess at the minute. They've hardly got any first-team players, and yeah, I mean, chances all sorts going on about like with stuff with Darren Moore and yeah, all sorts of crazy shenanigans going on. But I think they're going to be one of them teams that get better as the season goes on. I think they'll recruit. I think January is going to be huge for this club as well. And like I say, I think they're going to have an awful start to the season, but we are going to bring it back. And I can see them just surviving in 20th. And in 19th place, I've gone for Plymouth Argyle. I think, like I say, the season they had last year, getting over 100 points in League One, they did absolutely superb. And home park is just a fortress at the minute. So they'll be looking to keep that the same in the Championship. And like I say, they've splashed the cash a bit. They've signed 2 of the players who we had last season on loan who, sort of recruited really well. And I just think, at first I thought we're just going to come straight back down. But I think they'll have enough to stand the ground and make home park a bit of a fortress and survive.
Okay, so I had Plymouth in 21st for the reasons that you said. I think to survive first season of Asking is an achievement in itself. There's nothing to be sniffed at. Especially for Plymouth, who've been, missing out on promotion year on year for such a long time. It'd be really good if they did survive. 20th went Rotherham, because I think the days of yo-yoing are behind them. I think they went when Paul Warren went, which has been demonstrated by them surviving last season. And I think they'll stay up. And then in 19th, I had Sheffield Wednesday, because I don't think the new manager will last until Christmas.
I don't, to be fair.
I just think, and from what I understand, they've brought in a few sort of like Spanish players who he knows from previous clubs. I don't know if that'll help unify the dressing room. I think the shirt is very heavy to wear. And if they don't start well, fans will call for his head like that. They got 96 points last season and fans were still calling for Darren Moore's head. So you can't really... it's one of those situations where I just don't think Cisco, is it, will last until Christmas.
Yeah, they're going to be an interesting club to watch Wednesday because there's a lot, like I say, a lot going on in that club this season. Okay, so next up we've got 18th to 16th, and in 18th place I've gone for Blackburn Rovers. Things behind the scenes aren't looking too pretty, I don't believe, at Blackburn. I think that, like I say, obviously Brereton Diaz has gone to Villarreal. I know with the manager, he's not overly too happy with what's going on at the club.
And Dak has gone to Sunderland as well.
Yeah, Dak's gone to Sunderland. And there's just, like I said, I don't think the fans are too happy. There's obviously had ownership problems for a long time. I think it's still Venky's in charge of Blackburn. And like I said, they came 7th last year. So this is a big drop off of 11 places. But I just think they're going to struggle, especially looking at the rest of the teams that, you kind of expect to finish in that mid-table range. I think they're going to be the lowest of them lot because, like I say, just problems behind the scenes. I can't see manager lasting too long at all, to be fair. Like I say, the best players have gone out the door. Not many have come in. And yeah, it's just going to be a tough season for Blackburn, I think. In 17th place, I've gone for Prestonnorthend. But one of them teams last year were the king of the 0-0 draws. We had so many 0-0 draws, especially at the start of the season. But like I say, they picked it up a bit and a decent finish. But I think a few of the fans aren't too impressed with Ryan Lowe. I mean, he's done a steady enough job there, but the squad's aging a bit. They have still got some quality players, but I just don't see it being one of them they're not going to compete at the top of the table, but they're also, I don't think, will be in any trouble of going down. I think it's going to be a pretty boring season for Preston, and I've got them in 17th. And in 16th place, I've gone for Birmingham City. And I'll be honest with Birmingham, they could finish anywhere, to be honest with you. We've just got new owners. They've brought in a lot of players, and things are looking on the up for Birmingham, let's be honest. And I know a lot of the fans are optimistic for this year. So, not really too sure where to put Birmingham. I've gone with 16th, but there could be a club to keep an eye on.
So, in 18th, I went for Hull City. I think it could have been any team, really, sort of between 18th and 12th. Could finish anywhere, in my opinion. And I just don't think Hull have got the squad depth that a lot of the other clubs further up have got. I went for Watford in 17th because I think the trick of chopping and changing managers is just wearing a bit thin now, and that's been demonstrated by them going lower and lower and lower down the league over the last couple of years. They're nowhere near, the top of the Premier League anymore, and the parachute payments will be probably over by now.
Yeah, I think this is the last year of it.
And then in 16th, I went Blackburn Rovers for the same reasons you did.
Yeah. Right, now we're going to round off the rest of the bottom half from 15th to 13th. So in 15th place, I've gone for Stoke City. Now, they've been one of them clubs, like they've been the king of mid-table, to be fair. Stoke have just consistently been in mid-table. You think we're going to have a good year, and they still end up in mid-table. But they brought a few players in. I think they'll be decent. Like I say, Alex Neil's had a full year to work with the squad now. It's his first actual proper pre-season, I believe. So it's going to be, like I say, going to be an interesting one, Stoke. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to have a mid-table finish once again. 14th place, I've gone for Bristol City. I think they'll have an improvement. Like I say, under Nigel Pearson, he's been there for a decent amount of time now. Yeah. I'm going to say he's been able to build a decent squad up as well. And a squad that, like I say, it's going in the right direction, I think. I think it'll be around about the same again this year. I think a 14th place finish. But I think we will be looking to really push on towards some playoff places over the next few years. And finally, in 13th place, I've got Watford. Now, Watford are just the king of chopping and changing managers, to be fair. They've had more managers in the last 5 years and probably teams in the Championship itself. But like I say, it's not going to end well, is it? Just changing managers all the time. You can't get any consistency going. I mean, I like Ismail. He's like I say, Barnsley did wonders with him, getting him into the playoffs. But he don't stick around either. So it's just, they're not going to stick around, are they? And like I say, we've lost some best players. Joao Pedro's gone to Brighton, and also Ismail Sarr's gone out the door as well. So, they've not, like I say, the best players are leaving, the manager's leaving all the time. You're not going to get any consistency going. So I think we're going to continue to drop down the table and have a 13th place finish.
Who would want to go to work and not know who the gaffer's going to be like the next week? It's just
exactly.
Why would anyone want to stay there?
Or the next day.
They've just lost that pulling factor that they had as a newly relegated team however many years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
So in 15th, I went for Bristol City. Just for the same reasons you mentioned, really. I think that's quite a good result for Bristol City to finish 15th in the Championship. It's nothing to be sniffed at. And I think they'll just have another steady season under Nigel Pearson. 14th, I went for West Brom, just because they are at the end of their parachute payments, and I believe they have some financial troubles in and around what's going on. They owe quite a lot of money, don't they, to quite a lot of people.
Yep.
And I think that'll impact their ability to compete. And then in 13th, I went for Stoke City for the same reasons as you.
Perfect. Let's move on to the top half.
Yeah.
Okay, moving into the top half now. So we're going to go from 12th to 10th. So in 12th place, I've gone for Hull City. Now, I'm probably one of the people who's put them pretty high up, to be fair. I think a lot have put them a lot further down. I think most have put them back where you predicted them.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, like I say, we've had these Turkish owners in for a couple of seasons now. And last year, I thought we were going to really kick on a bit, but didn't finish as high as I thought they would. But like I say, they're really trying to stamp their authority on the club, we're having the Turkish manager and stuff like that. And they've got Liam Rossini in now, who's he's not a Turkish manager,
Definitely not.
But yeah, he's a good young coach, I think. Like I say, he did all right at Derby, I think. And he's just going to, like I say, I think we're just going to keep progressing a bit. I don't think it's going to be as steep as I originally thought, but I do think they're going to have a bit of a better season.
Are you just putting Hull so high up because you're thinking about those pulled pork cheese fries you had 2 seasons ago?
They were good, to be fair. But we've got them now, so we're not getting biases. In 11th place, I have gone for West Brom. A lot of trouble behind the scenes at West Brom. We've run out of parachute payment, as Lizzie said. Like I say, I've got some ownership issues, and like I say, they've still got a good squad. It's a good Championship squad, but I don't think we're going to be competing anymore at the top, and they could be in trouble in a few years. But yeah, I'm going to put them 11th for now. But yeah, like I say, from like 7th to 18th, they could be anywhere in there. It just depends on how the team gets on this season and how they progress. And in 10th place, I've gone for Swansea City. So they've just got Michael Duffin, and who has replaced Russell Martin. And they're going to do all right, Swansea, I think. I think, like I say, they've got a good squad. Russell Martin was a well-liked coach at Swansea, I know that. And I think Michael, and MK Dons as well, but pretty much everywhere has been. But I think Michael Duff is going to be well-liked as well. It's going to be interesting from going from that kind of like possession style that Martin had to a more pressing style under Duff. So I'm going to be able to adapt to that. And also the signing of like Jerry Yates as well is a really good signing for Swansea. So I think we're going to do well. I think we're going to push on, but not quite make the playoffs.
So in 12th, I went to Preston-Northend, but that is solely dependent on whether they keep Ben Whiteman, which is looking like they are at the moment. There's not seen anything about any interest in him. There was quite a lot of interest in January, obviously, but there hasn't seemed to have been any this summer. If they keep Ben Whiteman, then I think they're always going to get the odd win. They're always going to be a better team than they would be without him. So I think they'll just finish bottom of the top half. In 11th, I went Birmingham City, and that's changed today because it's come out that Tom Brady, the American football player, has invested some money into Birmingham City.
Okay.
And I think that's that kind of, Americans. I think they'll get a lot of attention, a lot of media, and I think also, attendances will go up, those kinds of things. And
yeah, we'll have to, I'm going to say, we've all just literally heard about that, so we're going to be interested to see how that develops.
And then in 10th, I went for Swansea City, same as you. I think
not much.
Michael Duff was the secret behind Barnsley's success last season. I think he did wonders at Cheltenham. I think he'll do really well at Swansea. I think Jerry Yates will bang goals. I think he banged goals in a terrible, terrible Blackpool team last season. And I just think they won't challenge for the playoffs, but maybe not this season, but next season, who knows? Because he's definitely got that potential.
Yep, definitely. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, finishing the rest of the teams that aren't going to quite make the playoffs, going from 9th to 7th now. So in 9th place, I've gone for Ipswich Town. Like I say, they had an absolutely storming season in League One last year. Any other season, they'd have probably won it. Racking up the points that we did, just Plymouth on 101 points. But stopped them from doing that. But like I say, they've got that forward momentum going for a massive club, even for the Championship standard, they're a big club. Like I say, Kieran McKenna seems like he's doing really well there, seems to have really taken to Ipswich. And I think we're going to carry on that really good form and get 9th place finish. In 8th place, I have gone for Norwich City. I think their time kind of competing and yo-yoing in the Prem to the Championship is over, in my opinion. I think they'll do better than last season. Couldn't really do worse than last season, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's going to be a good one. We've lost a lot of the best players. I've heard Max Aarons is going to Southampton as well, which is also going to be a big blow. And like I say, you've not got your Pookie, and then like from the seasons before, you've not got like obviously like your Buendia and your Cantwell and players like that. But just not the same Norwich as they used to be. Don't get me wrong, we're still a good team, but we're not quite that Norwich of old.
I think they've got a good coach in David Wagner as well. So him having a pre-season with him will probably help. I
don't think a lot of fans are keen on Wagner. No. I know it splits opinion, but it's gonna So it's gonna be interesting to see how he starts the season, because if he doesn't start well, it could he might not last long. And then just missing out on the playoffs, finishing in 7th. Once again, just missing out. I seem to do it every year. I've gone for Millwall. So it's just one of the things. Millwall just miss out on the playoffs. For a team though that I think really do punch above the weight. They're like I say, compared with some of the budgets in the Championship, they've got one of the lower ones, and they're so well run. I know, obviously, unfortunately, I think the chairman passed away not long ago, but they've done so well with the budget, just challenging at the top like they're doing. And Rowett is, like I say, I think he's been there about 4 years now. He's done fantastic with the squad that he's got. And they're just a very hard team to play against. They play ugly. I mean, it's Millwall, isn't it? But
I don't think it's helped by I think part of that momentum is through their reputation in the fan base, and those kinds of things make you harder to play against. Like what I said about Plymouth earlier, having a big fan base that follow you everywhere and are difficult to play at home. When you're at home, it's it's a nice.
Yeah, and I think Rowett's really embraced that. He's made Millwall a very hard team to play against. So I think we're just going to miss out on the playoffs, but once again, I think it's going to be close.
I went for the same 3 teams, just in a different order.
Okay.
So I went Millwall in 9th, Ipswich in 8th, and Norwich in 7th.
Oh, okay.
But the reasoning behind each of those decisions is the same as yours, really.
Yeah. Right, playoffs time now then. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a team each. So I'm going to say my 6th and explain it, and then Lizzie is going to do her 6th. So 6th place for me, I have gone for Sunderland. They're just a team on the up at the minute. The momentum is really with them. I know they lost in a playoff semi-final to Luton, but it didn't seem to like put the fans down. I think they know, like I say, first season back in the Championship, finishing in the playoffs is unbelievable. I know Diallo's gone back to Man United. He was really the star last year, but they've done really well. Like I say, Jody Bellingham coming in and Bradley Dack. Like they're building a solid squad. They've still got a solid squad of players, and I think, like I say, that momentum is just going to follow them through. I think Mowbray is the perfect manager for Sunderland as well. And yeah, I think we're going to have another solid season and finish in the playoffs.
In 6th, I went for Leeds United.
Okay.
I think they're not going to storm it by any means, but I do think that they will make the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll be going straight back up as some of their fans might expect. I think it might be a challenge in that playoff.
Yep, I agree. Okay, in 5th place, I've gone for Coventry City.
I've gone for Coventry City.
Oh, get in.
Yeah.
So with Coventry, they're just one of them teams. They're doing everything the right way. Like I say, Robbins has led them from League 2 all the way up to the playoff final, missing out in sudden death on penalties to Luton Town last season. They're just a club that seem to be doing all the right things at the minute. They're building up perfectly. Like I say, last season was the 3rd season back in the Championship. Like I say, they had they survived the first year, built on that the 2nd year, and then the 3rd year, like I say, getting to the playoff final. Can't ask for much more. Obviously, they've lost the main striker who's gone to Sporting Lisbon, but they have brought in Ellis Sims from Everton, who I don't think he'll have the same effect. I can't say his name because I'll butcher it up. But Guy Krez, I believe it is. I don't think I'll have the same impact he did, but I do like him. I rate him, and I think he will. He's a physical player, so I think he will do well in the Championship. If we keep Hamer as well, that'll be absolutely superb. But yeah, I think Coventry are going to keep this forward momentum, and we're going to finish in 5th place once again.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute. You've got to clap Mark Robinson.
Yeah,
like Mark Robinson
100%.
for what he's done. It gives people like me and you hope that our team could go and be in touching distance in the Premier League.
It was the same with Luton last year as well. We're saying for that playoff final. It just gives fans like us.
They got promoted the season after we did out of League 2.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They were down there longer than we were.
Yeah, they were even lower as well. So yeah, it's.
And I think Mark Robbins is criminally underrated as a coach.
Oh yeah. 100%.
What he has done with that Coventry side, with so much uncertainty off the field as well throughout that entire period, it's nothing to be sniffed at, and I really, really hope that they make the playoffs again, and I hope they win them.
Right, so in 4th place, I've gone for Leeds United. So with Leeds, there's a lot of unknowns. Like I say, they've sent quite a lot of the Premier League players out on loan, like Adamson and players like that, which, if they go up, is fantastic because when we're in Prem, we can just recall them back off the loan. But like I say, I think more players are going to come out, and it's a massive rebuild for Leeds, to be fair, let's be honest. It's, like I say, Rodrigo going as well. It's just, we've just been relegated. It's been a bit of a mess. Even since Bielsa left, that season they stayed up. We were extremely lucky and probably should have gone down, let's be honest. But it's just going to be a massive rebuild for Leeds. There's a lot of unknowns, like I said before. And I just think it's going to take a bit of time for it to click. And look at Burnley last year, how well they did. If you're not hitting the ground running straight away, you're going to struggle to be up there, and I think it's going to take them a bit of time.
Do you think the fans will give it's Farker, isn't it, who's there now?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll give him time?
I'm not sure, to be fair. I think it'll depend. I think a lot of it will depend. I don't think results as much. I think it will depend on performances as well.
Leeds fans are they've got such high expectations after Bielsa.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever going to compare to those days, that was at the dizzy heights of Leeds in recent years, and I think comparing every manager that comes into him is just going to stand them in bad stead.
I'm going to say it's a bit of a lose-lose, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. In 4th place, I went for Middlesbrough.
Okay.
So I think they'll have a very similar season to last season. I think Michael Carrick's good, but I think there's a chance that he might be tempted to the top flight. If somebody gets sacked in that Premier League, you can't tell me that Michael Carrick isn't the first name that each club is going to be looking at.
I'm thinking West Ham, to be fair, if Moyes leaves.
Or I was thinking maybe Wolves as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's
a fair few teams that if they get rid of their managers early on, if they get ed of their managers early on, you're going to be in a situation where Michael Carrick is top of every shortlist that comes up in that top flight. And who's saying he won't be tempted away, especially by West Ham if it's his former club.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that will dampen their chances of an automatic spot.
Yeah. Okay, so in third place, I've gone for Southampton. Now, to be honest with you, I moved these up. I swapped them and Sunderland around, to be fair. I had them in 6th originally, but I just can't, like I say, I thought they'd struggle, but I just can't see that anymore. I think they're going to really do well in the Championship this year. I don't know if they're going to get automatics, but I think it's going to be very close between them and the other two teams. I think, like I say, they've kept a lot of the players from last year as well, and they're adding to that squad as well. I know Ward-Prowse is still there. Whether he is, I personally can't see it, but whether he is or he isn't, it's still it's still a fantastic. Yeah, it's still going to be a fantastic squad no matter what. Like I say,
really
Martin's going to come in. He's going to play some fantastic football, and I just think Southampton are going to bounce back really well. I don't think they'll get automatics, but I think they'll be really close.
I went for Sunderland in third.
Yeah.
For all of the reasons that we've already spoken about, and it's unbelievable the journey that Sunderland have been on. Really.
Yeah.
It's their second season, and I honestly think they will miss out on automatic promotion by the skin of the teeth. By the skin of the teeth.
Yeah.
Is that the right expression?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they've got a great squad. They've got a good manager. They've got a huge fan base, and I think they'll do really well.
Yeah, I mean, I got a massive soft spot for Sunderland. I lived there for 5 years. First year I lived there, when we got relegated from the Prem, so I saw them from Prem, and then like the third year living there, we were in League One. So I've been there through it all. The fans are fantastic. They're such a passionate fan base, and I really think they could be the difference in a lot of matches. Right, we're moving on to the top two now then. So who's going up to the Premier League automatically? So in second place, I've gone for Middlesbrough. I think they're going to continue from last year under Michael Carrick. Like I say, the job he did since taking over from Chris Wilder is unbelievable. Took from a team fighting from relegation all the way up to really fighting Sheffield United for that second place until like the last few games of the season, where they did fall off a bit. And I think, like I said, I think they're going to be even better. I know they've not got a few of the loans, like Aaron Ramsey and players like that, but they've still got, like you say, like Cameron Archer. They've signed Sen Dieng as well, who's a very good keeper for that level. Like I say, I know he's had a few Premier offers.
He's not playing in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know I'm pretty sure he's had a few offers from Prem teams, but I just think they're going to continue this good run. Like I say, the only question mark is, like you said, if Carrick just get poached by a Premier League club. But I think if I can keep him, they're going to be up there and going up to the Premier League.
In second place, I went for Leicester City.
Okay.
I know they're everybody else's favourite. And there's a reason for that, obviously.
Yeah.
They've not gotten rid of that many players. They've recruited well. They've got, they've got a good manager. It's all those sorts of things that'll they'll definitely go straight back up first time of asking, I think.
Yeah.
But I still don't think they'll win the league.
Fair enough.
But you do.
I like that. And we're moving on now to our champions. So for me, I've gone for Leicester City. I don't see anyone else other than Leicester winning this, to be fair. I'll be brutally honest there. No. I know they have lost quite a few players. Like I say, Tielemans has gone, Harvey Barnes has gone, Maddison has gone. Like that core has kind of been has gone, but they have recruited very well. And I know it's going to take a while for them to gel, but for Championship, they made some really good signings, such like Connor Cody, Harry Winks, and loads of others as well. Doyle as well, who's a really good young centre-back, who I remember from Sunderland, who I've got from Coventry. And we're just going to, like I say, there is a bit of a question mark over the manager. I know he was assistant at City. Like, can he do it as an actual manager rather than an assistant? But I personally don't think they'd hire him if they didn't believe in him. And I just think they're going to be such a strong team. And I'm going to call it, I think they're going to get over 100 points.
Wow. I went for Southampton as my title winners. Just because if they keep hold of Ward-Prowse, if they, play under Russell Martin the way that he's managed to make an MK Dons team that was nowhere near the favourites for promotion get to the playoffs 2 seasons ago. I think he's got it in him to...
And look what happened when he left them. They just went straight
exactly.
down.
And it's that sort of... He's got that kind of ability to make average teams good.
Yeah.
Imagine what you can do with a team that's got the resources, the money, the backing that Southampton has.
Yep.
And I just think they'll do really well.
Yeah.
I think they'll win. I think, how long has it been since they were last in the Championship,
10 years, I think.
Exactly. I think they are mainstays in the Premier League. And I think they'll go back up.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to say for a team that I've just kept putting higher and higher and higher. And if we did these predictions probably a week later, I probably would have them in the top 2. But nevertheless, I've got them in third. You've got them as your champions. I've got Leicester as our champions. So let's see what happens at the end of the season. Anyway, we're going to end the video here. So our predictions are in front of our faces right now. So yeah, there's our 1 to 24s. Let us know your 1 to 24s in the comments. Like I say, if we've put your team somewhere you don't like, don't take it too seriously. It's just a bit of fun. Just let us know your 1 to 24s because it's not as easy as it looks. And let's see how we all do at the end of season. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. We're near 900 subs now and then to 1,000. So let's get there as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.